Roth IRAs and 401ks only have 2 advantages. IUL has 6 advantages. In this episode, I'm going to address the question, is Roth IRA good for retirement? Well, I'm also assuming, is a Roth 401k good for retirement? Simply put, it might be a step in the right direction, but I've never owned an IRA or 401k, never will. I've never owned a Roth IRA or 401k. I never will, because an IUL will knock the socks off of a 401k or IRA. I don't care if it's a Roth or not a Roth. And I'm going to teach you the 6 advantages that an IUL has over a Roth. My name's Doug Andrew, and I've been a retirement planning specialist for north of 46 years. I remember when IRAs first came out, and I began to realize, golly, people are sort of getting duped into thinking that putting pre-tax dollars into a 401k, or when IRAs first came out, you were making a contribution that you tax deducted off of your tax return off your income. You're funding it with pre-tax dollars, whether it's an IRA or a 401k. In the traditional sense, the premise was you were going to be in a lower tax bracket when you retired. Well, that has not been true for over 25 years, but it's very hard for the financial services industry to admit that was poor advice. But they actually, a couple of years ago, said, well, most people are not in lower brackets like we thought they would be. But they don't want to say it very loud because they say a fiduciary is supposed to look out for your best interest. Well, if they knew you were going to be in a higher tax bracket when you retired based upon what you've accumulated, they should be advising you differently. But they don't want to come in and say, oh, this is not a good idea, because it may look like they've been advising you wrong. Isn't that sad? Well, in 1997, when the federal government was hard up for tax revenue, Senator Harry Roth came in with a proposal and said, you know what? People are getting smarter. They're not in lower tax brackets when they retire if they accumulate very much money. The only people in lower brackets are the ones who don't have very much money. Is that why you want to be in a low bracket? Because you didn't save anything? And he said they're beginning to realize it's better to pay tax on the money before you set it aside, let it accumulate tax-free, and on the back end, during the distribution phase, take it out tax-free. Because most people then will save taxes because taxes are gradually going up. And so what happened is he proposed the Roth. He named it after himself, of course, the Roth IRA. You could roll money out of a traditional IRA or 401k, and you could put it into a Roth IRA. What did that do? That triggered tax. That's why they wanted it. It was for them. They wanted to have tax revenue. Now, it was a step in the right direction, but I don't think it's the greatest thing to do because there's too many strings attached. It's still a qualified plan. You still can only put in a certain dollar amount or a certain percent of your income. You have to leave it there for 5 years until you're 59 and a half. There's still all these government strings attached. And so my favorite vehicle, since I began in 1974, because it's been grandfathered in the Internal Revenue Code since 1913, is a max-funded universal life insurance contract. Universal Life came out in 1980. But see, money inside of life insurance since 1913 has been a sacred cow. It's the only vehicle that allows you to accumulate your money tax-free, access your money tax-free, but when you die, it blossoms and transfers income tax-free. So it has the 2 benefits of a Roth and some additional benefits. But I like indexed universal life for these reasons. So life insurance has had the 2 advantages of a Roth for over a century. It's been sort of a sacred cow in the Internal Revenue Code. But I like indexed universal life. That came out in 1997. So when I put money into an index universal life insurance policy structured with the least death benefit I can get away with under IRS rules and put in the most money, it turns into a tax-free cash cow. This is where I have earned average returns of the last 27 plus years of in excess of 11%, 11.17 to be exact, and I've netted 10.07. Now, that 1% is not tax. That's the cost of the insurance that the IRS says has to be there in order for it to be tax-free, grandfathered under these 3 sections of the code that have been around since 1913, Section 72E, 7702, and 101A. These sections of the code say money inside of an insurance policy accumulate tax-free. You can take out money tax-free, and when you die, it blossoms. It increases in value and transfers income tax-free. Nothing else does that. So the reason why I like an IUL over a Roth is because I get the 2 advantages of a Roth and 4 additional ones. What are they? Well, I can structure my IUL to be able to put in huge amounts of money, 100,000, 300,000, $1 million. We have clients doing this all the time. You can't put that much in a lump sum into a Roth unless it's a one-time rollover. So I can put in huge lump sums. If I can put in a large sum and I don't, I put in only 10,000 and I could have put in 100,000. There's 90,000 of room that I never lose. In the 2nd, 3rd, 4th year, I can make up for all the room that I had that I didn't use. You can't do that with a Roth. Once a tax year has gone, you have forever lost the opportunity to put in what you could have put in that year. I love the flexibility. But if I need to access money, in a Roth, I have to wait 5 years or till I'm 59 and a half. If I throw in 100,000 and I need to access 70 or 80,000 30 days later, I can do that for any reason. I don't have to prove it in an indexed universal life insurance contract. I don't have to ask permission. It's my money. I can do it with an electronic funds transfer or phone call. You can't do that with a Roth. But here's the key. I can use indexing. Indexing means that my money is linked to an index or indices with the insurance company, but my money is safe in the insurance company. It's not invested out in the market. But when I use indexing, then they take the interest on my money. If I have $1 million in there and the interest is 5%, that's 50 grand. And I can opt anytime to say, take that 50,000 of interest and have it put into options or whatever. So you'll have the wherewithal to pay me whatever the S&P or the Dow Jones or the Russell 2000, these are called indices, whatever they do. And so they're big boys and girls. They buy upside options. If I have 5% on $1 million, 50,000 that buys options, and it goes up 10%, the 50,000 doubles to 100,000 for them. It triples to 150,000. But see, if the market loses, then I don't lose. My $1 million is still sitting there because I never told them to put one dime of my money actually in the market. Only the interest on my money can buy upside options so that if the options expire because the market crashed, I don't lose my principal of $1 million. That's where I have averaged 11% for the last 27 years. And the cost of insurance was only one of those percentage points, so I netted 10%. Net internal rate of return. So I love indexing. The last advantage with an IUL is that if I died tomorrow in an accident, every $1 million in my IUL policies would blossom to about $2.5 million and transfer income tax-free to my wife or to my children or to any charity I wanted to leave it to. There's not a Roth around that will do that. So why would I ever own a Roth when I can have the 2 benefits of a Roth? I can accumulate my money tax-free and access my money tax-free, plus 4 additional benefits Roths will never have. I can put in huge lump sums. I can make up for lost time. I can take money out even 30 days later without a penalty. I can link my returns to an index and I make money when the market goes up and not lose when it goes down. And when I ultimately die, it blossoms. It increases in value and transfers tax-free. People say, how much does that all cost? Nothing. Now, nothing's free. I'm not paying for it. It's being paid for with the 1%. I'm earning 11 and netting 10. That's all covered. It just comes along for the ride. And so that's why I say an IUL is by far the best option, especially when you look at it compared to a Roth. I would never own a Roth. Why would I do that when I can have something far superior? Now, I've sort of spit out a lot of information in a few minutes here. If this has intrigued you and you want to learn more about how to do this, you want to understand how to structure an IUL properly and fund it correctly so that it becomes this cash cow for you. So I call it the Laser Fund, Liquid Assets Safely Earning Returns. How to diversify and create the foundation for a tax-free retirement with these additional advantages that Roths don't have. This is a 300-page book, my 11th one. It's flying off of the warehouse shelves. It retails for $20. I want to gift one to you absolutely free. So to claim your free copy of this book that contains charts, graphs, explanations, this side has 62 actual client stories and examples of how the Laser Fund is used for not just retirement, college funding for your kids, real estate management, emergency funds, and so forth. But you can go to laser, L-A-S-E-R, laserfund.com, and you can claim your free copy. You simply pay $5.95 shipping and handling. I'll send out the book to you. I'll pay for the book, and you can begin to learn. If you want to listen and learn and watch and learn more, there's additional resources at that website.